What if I told you things inside Red Bull are getting hotter than the engines on race start? Sounds dramatic, right? But it's not. After the Bahrain Grand Prix, what was just a whisper behind closed doors turned into smoke rising right in the middle of the paddock. Max Verstappen's underwhelming performance didn't just raise questions about the car, it set off alarm bells across the entire Austrian team. And no, this isn't just paddock gossip. We're talking heated arguments, no emergency meetings, and even Max's manager walking off with a face like thunder. So stay with me, because what happened in Bahrain might be the spark that lights something much, much bigger. From the very first free practice session of the Bahrain GP, you could tell something wasn't right. The Red Bull didn't look like itself. Verstappen, normally a surgeon when it comes to nailing fast laps, was already grumbling over the radio. "No grip," he said. "It won't turn properly. The brakes feel off." Words you rarely hear from a man who's dominated Formula One with terrifying ease. And when a driver doesn't trust his car, the outcome is almost inevitable, or rather, the lack of one. During qualifying, the signs were even clearer. Max made more than one mistake, and not just minor timing errors. We're talking missed braking points, running wide in corners, things that simply don't happen to Verstappen unless the car is giving him nothing to work with. It's like trying to drive blindfolded. The team tried to tweak the setup on the spot, but nothing really worked. The car was inconsistent, unpredictable, acting differently from corner to corner. It wasn't just uncompetitive. It was spooking the driver. And then came the race. That's when everything went from bad to worse. Verstappen wasn't even close to fighting for position. He was invisible for most of the race and crossed the line in sixth. Sixth for a Red Bull. Let that sink in. A result that would have been unthinkable in any recent season was suddenly a very real outcome. And no, this wasn't just bad luck or an off day. It was a symptom of something deeper, something wrong at the core. And the chaos didn't stop at the track. It followed them into the garage. Red Bull, the team that's practically the blueprint for how to do perfect pit stops, looked like amateurs. Slow stops, confusion with tire changes, even basic positioning errors while aligning the rear jack. These are things we don't expect from a team that's ruled the grid for years. And when you're Max Verstappen, every second counts. You need perfection in every lap, every call, every detail. But in Bahrain, it was all off. Even the radio communication was a mess. Mixed messages, unclear instructions, people repeating themselves like no one was on the same page. To top it all off, there were reports after the race that some sensors in Max's car failed. Tire pressure and temperature readings were delayed, throwing off the team's decision-making. So, Max was already wrestling with a car he didn't trust. And then, his team couldn't even provide real-time data. This wasn't just poor performance. It was a complete breakdown of the system that makes Red Bull so feared. And that's where things started to boil over. Because when you have a disaster like this, someone's going to point fingers. The atmosphere behind the scenes got tense. Very tense. And the media caught a moment that got everybody whispering. Raymond Vermeulen, Max Verstappen's manager, had a heated conversation with none other than Helmut Marko, the legendary and often intimidating Red Bull advisor. And this was no friendly hallway chat. There were pointed fingers, cold stares, and a very sharp ending where Vermeulen turned his back and walked off in the middle of it. British outlet The Mirror, who covered the scene, reported that Vermeulen directly demanded explanations for what's going wrong inside the team. According to them, he raised serious concerns about Max's working conditions, an unpredictable car, messy strategies, and a team making amateur mistakes. For someone managing the career of a three-time world champion, that's unacceptable. What's more telling is how Marko reacted. Normally firm and commanding, he was reportedly caught off guard. He didn't have a strong reply. And that silence only fueled more speculation that something serious is brewing behind the scenes, maybe even something that could affect Max's future with the team. Right after that post-race confrontation, Red Bull called an emergency meeting, and not just any meeting. This one had everyone. Team principal Christian Horner, technical director Pierre Wache, chief engineer Paul Monaghan, and yes, Helmut Marko himself. When these names gather immediately after a race, it's not casual. It's crisis control. Officially, nothing from the meeting was released, But word quickly spread that the mood was intense. This wasn't about minor tweaks. It was about identifying whether this was a one-off or if there's something fundamentally broken with the new car. There's also strong reason to believe Verstappen's complaints were brought up in detail. Every single point. Because Red Bull knows full well it cannot afford to lose the trust of its biggest asset. If Max begins to feel the team isn't capable of delivering, things could escalate quickly. Part of that meeting may have been exactly that. Damage control, trying to calm the fire before it burns the whole house down. Which brings us to the question no one wants to ask, but everyone's thinking. How long can Max Verstappen keep his patience? He's not known for letting things slide. Never has been. And the signs are all there. The tense conversation with management, the on-track errors, the rushed internal meetings. All of it points to a relationship that's beginning to show cracks. He's always been loyal to Red Bull. That's undeniable. But Max has also made it clear from day one, he wants to win. That's the deal. That's why he stayed. But if Bahrain is a preview of what 2025 holds, that loyalty might not be enough. Red Bull's got work to do. Fast. Not just with the car, but with rebuilding the confidence of their top driver. Because if that connection breaks, the domino effect across the grid could be insane. Rumors are already swirling that Verstappen is quietly keeping his options open. Maybe not a switch tomorrow, maybe not even this season. But the fact that such a thought even exists is enough to rattle the team. It's like a ticking time bomb. Every race from here on out is another click of the clock. If they fix it, fine. Back to dominance. But if not, the collapse could be brutal. All it takes is one more race like Bahrain, and this situation might spiral into something no one at Red Bull saw coming. So now, after everything we've seen, heard, and pieced together, one thing's becoming crystal clear. Red Bull didn't just walk into 2025 with a target on their back. They walked into a storm. A messy, unpredictable storm that could shake the very foundation of the team. And the worst part? They might not even realize just how close they are to breaking something they can't fix. And that leaves us with the biggest question of all. Was Bahrain just one bad weekend, the kind every team hits eventually? Or are we watching the first cracks in a dynasty that's beginning to crumble? Red Bull still has time to get back on track. But if they don't, not even Verstappen's brilliance might be enough to hold it all together. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Red Bull can recover and return to dominating like before? Or is Max already half out the door, and this team's about to implode before our very eyes?